Ever since humans have been on Earth, our primal instincts have encouraged us to remain alert for threats and to warn others about them. Our hyper-awareness of the threats around us has helped us to evolve and survive for longer periods of time. Today, this innate drive manifests itself into the public's modern-day fascination with none other than true crime. For many, our fascination is rooted in fear and disturbance, almost like rubbernecking a car crash. Hearing about a heinous murder often provokes disgust and shock. To others, reading about cases simply fuels their desire to know more. Take Web Sleuths, a forum website where thousands of true crime fanatics gather to discuss true crime cases and work as armchair detectives where they attempt to solve them. The site was created in 1999 and was one of the first forum sites dedicated to true crime fanatics. The most popular posting on the site is Caylee Anthony's case, with a whopping 1 million comments underneath it. Taking this phenomenon a bit further, you have the infamous world of serial killer fandoms. The popular blogging platform Tumblr is infamous for its subculture of serial killer fanatics. Hundreds of users take to the site daily to profess their lust over the murderers. Some of the most popular targets of their affection are Dylann Roof, Richard Ramirez, and the Columbine shooters, Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold. These fans display a fascination akin to the rage over a hot new boy band. The site is filled with fan art, memes, and even edits, like this one of the Columbine killers. My question is, how did we get here? How did we get to the point of idolizing violent murderers? Over time, watching news coverage of a serial killer's crimes has developed into spamming fan posts on forums and blog sites. The answer? It's quite clear that the public's fascination has been enabled by media outlets. These stories are mass-produced with little concern for ethicality. Tabloids, news journalists, and more compete with each other daily to see who can churn out the most vivid and disturbing headline about the latest murder case. All of this readily available at the click of a button for just about anyone to see. Today, true crime is as accessible as ever. Tabloid articles are plastered everywhere across the internet, from pop-up ads to Facebook links. There are countless streaming platforms showcasing the grisly details of murders through biopics and documentaries. As a result, the public has become desensitized to this cruelty and has even begun to see the killers as notable figures in history. It isn't a secret that biased viewpoints in journalism are everywhere. Take Ted Bundy's case and the media's portrayal of him. Not just the heinous crime itself, but him as a person.
When you think of serial killers, you never think of a good-looking guy that you would be a pinup, but this guy was really attractive and women were drawn to him.
Ted Bundy was possessed by evil, but he was possessed, too, of a fatal charm.
Take a look at the 2019 Netflix film based off of Bundy's life, starring none other than national heartthrob Zac Efron. If you didn't know any better, you'd think that the film's trailer was for an upcoming rom-com. The film plays off of retro nostalgia and emphasizes the aesthetics of this time period. The romanticization of this era makes it much easier to idolize Bundy and see him as a sort of historical figure instead of your friendly neighborhood murderer. This technique separates the viewer from the crimes themselves and makes us feel less inclined to see these killers as cruel monsters. The tendency to focus in on the individual who committed the murder as opposed to the action itself or even the victims undoubtedly contributes to this culture of serial killer idolization. People want to know more about the people who committed murders, from their traumatic childhood to the details of their grisly killings. This mentality turns these killers into their own kinds of celebrities and household names. Believe it or not, there are even collectible items for serial killers, such as action figures and trading cards. Scroll through Etsy for a couple of seconds and you'll find everything from candle gift sets to socks with the faces of infamous killers printed onto them.
No matter how heinous or despicable his case and his crimes are, people are always going to want their stuff.
The motive? Nothing more than pure greed. Serial killer stories are highly profitable, and news outlets and social media sites are taking advantage of this craze as quickly as they can and taking the internet by storm, regardless of the consequences. A survey taken by Publishers Weekly in 1993 found that the most popular true crime books narrowed in on serial killers. Not only that, but the novels with the most grotesque content possible performed better than others. That begs the question, are serial killers defined by their traumatic past and their life circumstances, or are they exempt from victim status because of their wrongdoings? The film My Friend Dahmer explores this question. The film stars Russ Lynch, and it's unique from a lot of other true crime media by showcasing the events that led to Dahmer's perverse fascination with necrophilia. Although the film discusses the life of one of the most famous serial killers of all time, it actually never shows a murder. It simply shows his rough home life throughout his teenagehood, from his parents' divorce to the bullying he dealt with at school. As a result, the blame shifts from the perpetrator himself to his family and peers, and sometimes even the victims. Could this sort of narrative be damaging in that it justifies the actions of serial killers, or does it simply explain the reasons that people kill? This narrative contributes to people's desire to glamorize killers and almost pity and infantilize them. The fine line between justification and explanation has slowly blurred over time, leaving a lot of true crime consumers inching towards sympathy instead of disturbance. What we have left is an epidemic of serial killer fans determined to idolize even the cruelest of murderers.